Edward Joseph Cannon. I am an SES with the Navy. So, I never really charted a career, but it turned out that the career, I think, chartered me in the sense of what I knew is I really liked working with the team, working as a civilian, but supporting active duty. So, I guess if we jump forward, one thing I'd like to joke about a little bit is that I started out at Willow Grove with that internship, and then it turned into my first job as the sports director. So usually I was in shorts and had a whistle ready for whatever event it was, and finished up as an SES wearing the suit and tie. So I'm one of the few people anyway that can say I honestly started off my career in shorts and a whistle and finished as a senior executive. So very proud of that, but it wasn't necessarily a chartered course as much as it was looking for that next opportunity, having great mentors to kind of lead you in the right direction. So as I mentioned before, that career started off at Willow Grove, but I had a boss at Willow Grove who pulled me aside one day during one of my evaluations, and it was kind of funny because I wasn't sure. I went home to talk to my wife and I said, I think my boss really likes me. However, he told me I need to leave. I need to go overseas. I need to expand my horizons. And he did it in such a way to say, Ed, you're doing a good job here, but if you really want this to be your career, you need to get other experiences. And so he kind of chased me out of Willow Grove in a very polite way. He helped me, sat down with me and said, why don't you put your resume together, send it off to the Navy headquarters. And a little while later, I got a couple job offers. I accepted the one in Naples, Italy. I learned a real valuable lesson there to listen to your mentors, but also listen to yourself. And what I mean by that is this particular boss and mentor told me, Ed, go anywhere, but don't go to Naples. It's the armpit of the world. And I chose to go to Naples. And I went there because to me it sounded like an exciting challenge, that they had trouble getting some good talent there, and that they had challenges. And so to me, that sounded like where I wanted to be, to just see if I could make a difference. And then certainly heard a lot about the great pasta and pizza and travel, and that all turned out to be true as well. And so I have nothing but fond memories of Naples. The people are great. The sailors I know had a great time, and the Marines. I was there in the mid-'80s, and the ships were in all the time. We would have thousands of people come in at one time. Carney Park was a large park in Naples, still is, where we would bring the troops in, bus them in there, and just have great parties. Campsites were set up there, and then large tournaments. We'd bring people in from all the ships, as well as all the European installations, to include Army, Air Force, Marines. It was just a great experience, and it really, it was the first time I wound up supervising a lot of people. I'd have over 200 people under me, and of that, the majority were local nationals. So learning to work with a union was something new, learning to work with local nationals and the rules and the regulations that we have for them, understanding their cultures, understanding the difference between how we think about work and how our European counterparts do, and getting those two to meld together. So I think it was really a great launching pad for me, and also led me to seek larger experiences along the way. One of the things we used to joke in Naples when the carriers would come in all the time, it was classified when they would come in, so you would get some notice, but generally speaking, the best way you would know is when the taxi drivers were all lined up. Once the taxis were lined up at the port, you knew the fleet was coming in. So that was one way we knew. But we would get official correspondence through message traffic, and it would say that plan on X amount of people. And then we could do secure messages to the ships, and they would register their softball teams, how many trips they wanted. So when they would pull into Naples, as an example, we would, I don't want to exaggerate, so I don't know the exact number, but we would have many buses, many buses lined up to bring them to trips to Rome, bring them to Florence, depending on how much leave or liberty they had at the time. But sometimes it was real quick. We would find out a day or two in advance and we'd have to scurry to put things together. Other times, like the 4th of July, for the 4 years I was in Naples the first time, we always knew the 4th of July would be our big event. And so we would have boxing smokers set up. We'd have to get the referees and the umpires and the scorekeepers all lined up, ready for the big tournaments. We could have 30 men's softball teams, another 16 women's softball teams, and then just all the trips, all the events going on. So it was, I would say, organized chaos, and it was all hands on deck, and we would pull that together.